Hi, my name is Linda Bjork, and I believe that every journey to healing begins with hope. HOPE. The H stands for having a hunger for healing and for happiness. I have learned that when we are satisfied with the way things are, then nothing changes. It starts with a desire, but the desire, a little bit of a desire, is not enough. It actually has to reach a tipping point. And the tipping point is when we want to change more than we want to stay the same. And that makes all the difference. You can tell when you've reached that tipping point because you're willing to do something about it. We can have all the things that we want, happiness and peace and great relationships and confidence. All of these things can be ours, but first we have to have a strong desire, a hunger. The O stands for being open. When I was struggling with depression and anxiety, I was closed up tight, 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 like a little armadillo rolled up into a ball. And they do that to try to protect themselves. And that's what I was doing. I was trying to protect myself. I was in survival mode. But I have learned that we can't heal when we're up tight, tight, tight. We have to allow ourselves to open. For me, the first step was being open enough to admit to another person that I was not in a good place. I had to be open to receiving help. I had to be open to new ideas and to trying new things. I had to be open to change and open to healing. Healing requires being open. And I have to say, I did not go from being tight, tight, tight to being arms open wide. It just starts with just that little bit. Again, that first step for me was admitting to another person that I was not in a good place. We start there and then we work our way out. The P stands for positive expectancy, and positive expectancy means you're expecting a positive outcome. And it is absolutely critical for the success of any type of mental or emotional treatment or program. We're not going to put any effort into it if we don't think it's going to make any difference. The good news is that change is possible and that healing is possible. It's so exciting that there are so many studies that verify that the things that we share on the Hope for Healing website really work. And I know from my own experience that healing is possible, and that is exciting. The E stands for empowerment. If we're struggling with low self-esteem, low confidence, anxiety, depression, struggling with our stress, struggling with not being able to handle our problems, maybe a victim mentality, all of these things show that we have a lack of power or we feel a lack of power. And we need to find a way to get our power back. Now, power is a concept that is often misunderstood. I'm not talking about some kind of hierarchical power where I have the power and authority to boss somebody else around. I'm talking about inner power. This is the kind of power that means that I feel comfortable in my own skin. The power that says, I know that I can handle my problems and that everything is going to be okay, even if I don't know what okay looks like. This is the power to be able to be confident, not arrogant. It all comes from gaining that personal power. So, how do we gain that power? It comes from a combination of learning and doing. If we learn something and then don't apply it, it's not self-help, it is shelf-help. The power comes from learning and doing. And on the Hope for Healing website, we're going to share a whole bunch of information and some tools that you can use to put some power into your life. So let me give a couple of examples of things that changed my world around. One of the tools is gratitude. Now, writing a gratitude journal, some people might think, oh, that's nice. That's something for happy, smiley people to do, and they can enjoy that. But I'm talking about, I need some real solutions because I have real problems. Well, here is the magic. The magic is in the research of what gratitude can do for our bodies and our minds. Research shows that being in a state of gratitude actually improves the neuroplasticity of the brain, which can literally help us to be more adaptable to change. It helps us become more resilient. When we are feeling grateful, it helps to stimulate this front part of our brain, that prefrontal cortex. And this is where our conscious thought takes place and our decision making. This can help us to be able to make better decisions and also to be able to be in the present more. All of these things are super helpful. Also, research has shown that being grateful can help with depression and anxiety. In one study, they took a group of people who were struggling with severe depression. And they asked them to simply write 3 things that they were grateful for every day. And after 15 days, they checked with the participants and found that 94% had experienced a benefit. They had gone from severely depressed to either moderately depressed or mildly depressed. It didn't solve all of their problems, but it made a measurable difference in just 15 days. So when we talk about learning and doing, the learning is helping us to understand that the principle of gratitude is something that can make a real difference in our life. And the application is doing something like, let's write 3 things in a journal that we're thankful for every day. Here's another tool: music. Music is an incredibly powerful tool that can help influence the way that we feel. Now, research shows that our brainwaves actually synchronize somewhat to the beat of the music, and that can be used in several different ways. If we're struggling with motivation, I don't want to get started, I'm having a hard time, then listening to positive, upbeat music can literally help jumpstart our brain into motion. Also, if we're feeling overwhelmed and frazzled, like there's too much going on, we can listen to calming music to be able to help us literally calm down our brainwaves and to be able to think and to function better. Now, if you really want to boost the power of music, you don't just listen, you sing or you dance. Research shows that singing has incredible benefits to our bodies and our minds. It literally helps reduce muscle tension. It helps relieve anxiety and depression. It helps lower cortisol levels. It helps to stimulate and increase those neurotransmitters in our brain that help us to feel good. In one research study, they took a group of people who were struggling with depression and anxiety. They had a control group. They said, just keep doing what you're doing. They had another group and they said, okay, we want you to sing a song every day. That is the only change. After 30 days, they checked with the groups. The control group was exactly where they were 30 days ago. The group that had been practicing singing every day had significantly lower levels of depression and anxiety. And that was simply from singing a song every day. Now, here's another one. Service. Service is an incredible tool to help improve the way that we feel about ourselves. One study was done where they had a group of people who were struggling with feelings of low confidence and low self-esteem. And they divided into 4 groups. One was a control group. They said, just keep doing what you're doing. Another group was encouraged to do all kinds of self-care and just pamper yourself. Maybe do a little retail therapy, get a massage, just really treat yourself well. Another group was told to do all the things that we reflexively know that we should be doing when we're having struggles with low confidence and low self-esteem. We're supposed to go in whenever we're together in a social group, we have to hide all of our flaws, make sure that no one knows what our flaws are, and then make sure that you talk about and get people to notice and recognize your strengths. And so they were encouraged to do that. The 4th group was told, we just want you to do small acts of service, just little acts of kindness every day. Then after a period of time, they got back together to check how all the different groups were doing. The control group was the same as they were before. The group that had been practicing that self-care and that I don't want to say self-care because self-care is a good thing, but pampering themselves, they were actually in the same position. They hadn't improved at all. They were the same as the control group. Surprisingly, that group who had done all the things that we reflexively think we're supposed to be doing, of hiding their weaknesses and making everybody recognize their strengths, they were worse than the control group. Their self-esteem and their confidence had actually dropped. And then the group that had practiced service, those small acts of kindness, that was the group that had increased confidence and increased self-esteem. It's really quite surprising because it's a little bit counterintuitive. Now, these tools, I've only mentioned a couple, but there are so many things that we can do. Now, here's the magic. These small, simple action steps can literally help to change the chemistry in our bodies and our brains. We now have proof through MRI scans that we can make significant measurable changes in brain chemistry and function through changing the things that we do, the things that we say, and the things that we think. And I understand from a person who has struggled with depression and anxiety myself that some of these things might sound a little bit silly, like, oh, you're not taking my problem seriously. You're offering me these little piddly things when I am dealing with real issues. And I understand that, but I've learned that healing is not like a light switch where it's instant. It is like a sunrise where the change from moment to moment might be imperceptible, but it does come. And I promise that these things can make a difference in our lives. I invite you to go through the Hope for Healing website and see all the tools that we have and choose the ones that you like and create a tool belt of your own. It's okay to say, oh, I hate singing, but I like gratitude, or to whatever it is, and tailor it to your particular needs. I invite you to join with me in making the world a better place by working on the only person that you truly have the power to change, and that is yourself.